Right now, there is a multi-million-dollar recording studio sitting inside your laptop. And, you were probably using it to watch cat videos or scroll through emails.
Guilty as charged.
Right. But today, we are looking at how a hissing, out-of-tune acoustic demo recorded in a bedroom at like 2 in the morning is crossing the velvet rope and becoming a pristine, radio-ready pop anthem.
It's a profound shift. I mean, we've been conditioned for decades to believe that pristine audio quality lives permanently behind that velvet rope.
Oh, totally.
You picture a sprawling analog recording console, custom-built acoustic fortresses, 50 different vintage microphones, and a whole team of engineers.
But looking at the source material we've gathered today, that traditional studio hierarchy is facing a total structural collapse. And that bridging of the gap between the raw bedroom recording and the final polished release, well, that's our mission for today's deep dive. Whether you are a content creator scouring the internet for background tracks, or a bedroom producer sitting on a hard drive full of unfinished song ideas, or just someone fascinated by how technology is entirely rewriting the rules of the creative arts, you are going to want to pull up a chair for this one.
Because today we are examining the absolute vanguard of this movement. Looking at the documentation provided for this deep dive, we are focusing on a platform called SongUp AI, which you can find at songwithpi.com. And we aren't evaluating this as just another flashy software plugin. The developers are positioning this as an ambitious, all-in-one ecosystem, actively aiming to become the brand new industrial standard for music production.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because as someone who has spent way too many nights acting as an aspiring indie artist, I have wrestled with the cables.
Oh, I've been there.
I have tried to force a decent sound out of a tiny, untreated room. And the sheer frustration of the traditional indie workflow is it's a massive barrier.
It really is.
Making music digitally right now feels like trying to cook a gourmet meal, where your fridge, your stove, and your sink are all located in completely different houses across town.
That is a great analogy. And that fragmentation is the exact structural problem SongUp AI was designed to solve. When you look at how digital audio workstations, or DAWs, have evolved, they've just become incredibly bloated.
Yeah, you record a vocal in one program, then you export that heavy audio file, close the application, and open a totally different piece of software just to tune the vocal.
Right, and then you bounce that file out again.
Exactly. Maybe you realize your subscription to your mastering software expired, so you have to navigate a complex licensing manager.
Yeah.
Then you switch to another web app for beat extraction.
It's endless.
You're literally juggling 5 different apps, 5 different interfaces, and 5 different monthly subscriptions just to finish a single 3-minute song. It drains the creative energy right out of you.
You end up spending 80% of your time managing file directories and software licenses, and, only 20% of your time actually writing the music.
Yeah, that math checks out.
It creates a massive bottleneck between your initial inspiration and the final product. According to the developers, SongUp AI addresses this by unifying the entire production process. Instead of running between 5 different houses, everything is placed into one state-of-the-art kitchen.
One kitchen. I like that.
They've built an ecosystem of over 28 professional AI tools. And crucially, it all runs efficiently on a single, unified credit system.
Which sounds amazing for keeping your creative momentum going. But I'm looking at my own hard drive full of muddy acoustic demos, and whenever we talk about an ecosystem that automates this much of the creative process, my immediate anxiety flares up.
Sure, that's natural.
Like, is this AI built to just replace the human musician entirely? Are we moving toward a future where I just push a button, walk away, and let the computer take over the art?
This raises an important question, and it is the exact tension at the heart of the modern music industry. But if you look closely at the core philosophy driving SongUp AI's architecture, the answer is a resounding no.
Okay, good.
The platform explicitly operates on the fundamental principle that it is built by musicians for musicians. The artificial intelligence here isn't being positioned as a replacement for the producer or the songwriter. It is being treated as a powerful new instrument.
So it's less about the AI writing the song for you and more about giving you a better paintbrush.
Precisely. Think of the historical transition from the acoustic guitar to the electric synthesizer in the 1970s. When the synthesizer first arrived, people panicked.
Oh,
They thought it was a machine that was going to replace the entire orchestra. But it didn't replace the musician. It democratized a whole new landscape of sound. It created synth pop, electronic dance music, entirely new genres.
That's a really good point.
Song Up AI is doing the same thing. We are moving from an era where musicians had to be craftsmen manually shaping every raw waveform to becoming directors who curate and guide incredibly powerful generative tools.
So it's taking the busy work away.
Right. It takes the tedious technical heavy lifting off your plate so you can focus entirely on the emotion and the direction of the song.
Okay, so if the unified ecosystem gets all our tools into one kitchen, we have to talk about the hardest ingredient to source in any bedroom studio, which is, of course, the vocal performance.
Oh, absolutely.
Because capturing and mixing a perfect vocal is historically the most agonizing part of any DIY recording. You're constantly fighting background noise from your air conditioner, pitch drift because you can't hear yourself properly, and bad timing.
The human voice is notoriously the hardest element to get right in a mix, primarily because the human ear is biologically wired to detect the slightest imperfection or artificiality in another human voice. We are highly sensitive to it.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Looking at the documentation, SongUp AI has this dedicated suite called the Vocal Lab, and its capabilities, particularly the neural auto-tune, seem to function completely differently from the older software we're used to.
Yeah, it's quite elite.
It feels like having a world-class digital vocal coach living inside your computer.
What's fascinating here is how neural autotune actually operates under the hood. Traditional pitch correction software works by ruthlessly snapping audio frequencies to a rigid mathematical grid.
Right, which is what gives you that robotic, mechanical sound.
Exactly. But the AI models inside the vocal lab analyze the biological envelope of the human voice.
The biological envelope.
Yes. When you feed it a pitchy, exhausted, late-night acoustic bedroom take, it understands the nuance of the performance. It preserves the natural vibrato and the micro-expressions of your voice while gently shifting the fundamental frequency to the correct note.
It's mapping the human element, not just flattening the math. That makes total sense. But the documentation also mentions instant a cappella extraction within this suite and something called sonic flow.
Ah, sonic flow.
Wait, if sonic flow is a generative tool, are you telling me I don't even need to be in the room singing into a microphone? I'm just typing in lyrics and casting a digital lead singer.
That is exactly what you are doing. Sonic Flow is designed to create highly realistic vocal tracks entirely from scratch using phonetic synthesis.
That is wild. Walk me through a practical scenario for that, because it feels like a massive leap for solo creators.
Let's say you are an incredibly talented electronic music producer. You can program beautiful synthesizer melodies, you can craft intricate drum beats, but you don't have the vocal range to pull off the soaring pop anthem you hear in your head.
Right, I'm just a guy with a laptop.
And like most independent creators, you don't have the thousands of dollars required to hire a professional session singer to come into a vocal booth for a day. Sonic Flow opens an entirely new door.
So the AI steps in?
Exactly. The AI analyzes the text and generates a pristine, highly realistic vocal performance with accurate human timbre to match your track.
So it completely removes the biological limitation of your own vocal cords from the production process. You become the director casting the perfect voice for your scene.
And because it sits right inside that unified 28-tool ecosystem, you immediately drop that generated vocal into your project without ever opening another app.
All right, let's say I've done that. I've used Sonic Flow to cast my virtual singer, or I've used the Vocal Lab to perfectly tune my own raw recording. I drop that vocal over my acoustic guitar with my drum beat.
Okay. Setting the scene.
It still probably sounds like a rough demo, right?
Yeah.
Because those individual elements haven't been glued together yet. Mixing isn't just turning the volume up and down, it's making sure frequencies don't physically cancel each other out.
Very true.
Are you telling me an algorithm can critically listen to a raw guitar and a vocal, understand that they're fighting for the exact same mid-range frequency, and actually make a creative decision to carve space for both?
It is a completely valid skepticism. Historically, automating the mix process has resulted in very muddy, lifeless tracks because the software just applies a blanket preset to everything.
Right, the generic pop preset.
But the smart auto mix and mastering tools inside SongUp AI approach this through dynamic machine learning models. The AI has essentially been trained on millions of professionally mixed chart-topping tracks. It understands what a good mix looks like on a microscopic frequency level.
So it's referencing a massive data set of commercial hits while it listens to my raw demo.
Precisely. It analyzes the specific frequency dynamics of your individual tracks and instantly begins balancing the audio levels.
Just automatically.
Yes. If your bass guitar and your kick drum hit at the exact same time, they usually turn into a muddy rumble because they are masking each other.
The dreaded low-end mud.
The Smart Auto Mix detects this frequency masking and dynamically ducks one of them. It carves out a specific sonic pocket for the low end. It brightens the upper frequencies of the vocals so they sit perfectly on top of the instrumentation.
That's amazing.
And then it finalizes the entire track with a limiter to bring it up to modern radio-ready loudness standards.
It's essentially demystifying that dark magic for the bedroom producer who doesn't understand the complex math of compression ratios and parametric EQs.
It makes professional polish instantly accessible for the beginner, yes. But there is a crucial dual benefit here. Even for seasoned professionals who understand all that dark magic, finding those rogue frequencies and manually automating volume levels across 50 different tracks takes hours of tedious, repetitive work.
Yeah, that's true. It's exhausting.
This AI gives those professionals their time back. You get to the finish line infinitely faster because the AI does the foundational balancing for you.
Which brings us to a feature in the source material that genuinely feels like science fiction. I'm talking about the web GPU stem separation.
Oh, yes. This is huge.
Because stem separation is one of those things that, for decades, audio engineers considered physically impossible. The standard analogy was always trying to unbake a cake.
Exactly.
Once the flour, sugar, and eggs are baked together into a single flattened stereo audio file, you can't just reach in and pull the eggs back out.
But the AI models have become sophisticated enough to do exactly that. They act like a highly trained chef who has studied millions of cakes and learned to recognize the exact sonic fingerprint of every ingredient.
So it's pattern recognition on a microscopic scale. It's not just using a generic filter to cut out the low bass frequencies.
Well, yeah, not at all.
The AI is actually recognizing the specific acoustic signature of a snare drum or the unique harmonic resonance of a human voice and extracting it perfectly intact.
With incredible precision, you can take a fully mixed, finished stereo track and instantly isolate the drums, the bass, or the vocals.
That's just wild.
If you are a producer looking to sample a drum break or a DJ wanting to create a vocal remix, you no longer have to track down the original artist and beg them to send you the individual project files.
And the documentation makes a very specific point about this being web GPU stem separation. Why does that technical distinction matter to me sitting at my laptop?
It matters massively for your workflow. Traditionally, heavy AI tasks like stem separation require massive computational power.
Right, like server farms.
Yeah, you would have to upload your heavy WAV file to a cloud server, wait in a queue for their machines to process it, and then download it back. WebGPU is a relatively new web standard that allows the browser to bypass all of that.
Oh, really?
Yes. It talks directly to the graphics card inside your own laptop, whether that's an Apple Silicon chip or a dedicated graphics card. It handles this massive computational task locally, securely, and incredibly fast, right within the unified ecosystem.
So no waiting on slow servers. We have the unified kitchen, we've written the song, we've tuned the vocals by mapping the biological envelope, we've used the AI's reference models to mix and master it, so it sounds like it was produced in $1 million studio.
The whole 9 yards.
The song is done. It sounds incredible. So what does this all mean when it's time to actually share it with the world?
Now comes the reality check, because the business side of music is often far more treacherous than the production side.
I am channeling the deep existential anxiety of modern content creators, YouTubers, and indie artists right now. Because you don't even have to be in the music industry to feel this pain.
Oh, not at all.
You spend 3 weeks editing a fantastic video essay or a documentary, you license what you think is a safe background track, you upload it, and bam, the algorithm hits you with a copyright claim.
It's the worst feeling.
Or worse, a channel strike. You are legally locked out of monetizing your own hard work because of incredibly complex music licensing webs.
And that's exactly why you can't evaluate a platform like this solely on its technical merits. You have to look at the legal framework it provides.
So what does this all mean? What happens when I try to put my radio-ready Song Up AI track out into the world? If the AI generated the vocal or helped mix the track, who actually owns the music I just made?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the legal framework is arguably the most crucial structural shift Song Up AI brings to the table. According to their platform guidelines, they call this the creator advantage.
The creator advantage. Got it.
To put it simply, Song Up AI grants 100% commercial rights and ownership to its paid users.
Wait, 100% ownership. So there are no hidden royalties I have to pay out down the line? No complex contracts where the platform owns a percentage of my publishing?
No hidden royalties, no complex licensing webs. When you generate or produce a track within their ecosystem, it is entirely yours.
That is massive.
This means that as a creator, you can safely publish and, most importantly, monetize your custom tracks on major distribution platforms like YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music.
But how does it actually bypass the copyright algorithms? Because platforms like YouTube use Content ID, which aggressively scans every second of audio against a massive global database of copyrighted material.
Because the AI is generating bespoke audio based on your specific prompts and parameters, the resulting track does not exist anywhere in those copyright databases.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't have a matching digital hash. It is totally custom and therefore completely copyright-free from a claims perspective. You don't have to live in fear of a false positive flagging your video because you literally directed the creation of that unique audio footprint.
That is a total game changer for YouTubers and streamers who are bleeding money paying monthly fees for standard royalty-free libraries that often sound generic or repetitive.
Exactly.
They can now use SongUp AI to generate bespoke, professional-grade music tailored exactly to the pacing and mood of their specific video, and monetize that video with complete peace of mind.
And for the independent musical artists, the implications are even more profound. Let's say you are that bedroom producer. You use this platform to fully produce a song, you distribute it, and that song unexpectedly blows up on Spotify.
The dream scenario.
Right, it gets added to major playlists, it goes viral on social media, and it becomes a legitimate chart-topping hit. Because of the creator advantage, you keep all the profits. You own the masters entirely. You didn't have to give away 50% of your publishing rights to a major recording studio or an expensive mixing engineer just to get the song to a releasable sonic standard.
That is the ultimate realization of democratizing the industry. It brings our entire conversation full circle. We started by looking at the intimidating fortress of the traditional music studio.
Yep, the million-dollar console.
Exactly, the exclusive velvet rope, and the massive financial barrier to entry they represented for everyday creators.
And what the source material reveals is that SongUp AI's 28-tool ecosystem is systematically dismantling every single one of those barriers.
From the Vocal Lab, rescuing a pitchy acoustic take by understanding human nuance, to the Smart Auto Mix replacing hours of tedious frequency carving, to the Web GPU stem separator letting you literally unbake the sonic cake using your own laptop's hardware.
It really is all in there.
The technology is absorbing the technical friction so that the pure creative vision can actually survive the journey from your brain to the speakers.
It fundamentally shifts the landscape. It ensures that anyone, whether you are a content creator needing legally safe, highly customized background music, or a bedroom producer with a raw demo and a vision, can achieve industry-standard sonic results.
Without going broke.
Right, without needing an encyclopedic knowledge of audio engineering and without going into debt renting studio time.
The barrier to entry has permanently been lowered. The tools are finally keeping pace with the speed of imagination. You just have to bring the ideas.
Which leaves us with a fascinating philosophical threshold.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because if we are entering a new era where AI ecosystems like SongUp AI can instantly democratize perfect sonic quality.
Right.
Like if literally anyone can now generate pristine, radio-ready production from their laptop, it forces us to ask what actually makes a song special.
It's a huge question.
If the future means everyone's tracks sound sonically flawless and perfectly mixed, does that mean technical perfection will no longer be impressive? Will the only thing that separates a good song from a truly massive, culture-defining hit be the absolute uniqueness of the human story?
The raw emotion behind the lyrics.
Yeah, and the vulnerability of that hissing microphone in the bedroom where the idea was first born.
Yeah.
If perfection is cheap, maybe imperfection and genuine human experience become the ultimate premium.
That is the true frontier of the AI era. When the craft is automated, only the soul of the director remains.
Something to mull over the next time you sit down at your laptop to write. Keep creating, keep experimenting, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.